Hi, my name is Sean McCarthy, and what I'm going to describe in this video is how to prepare your PowerPoint presentation for the proposal clinic. It's based on the concepts I presented in my training courses, so I'm assuming that you've taken the training courses. Now, when you are presenting your idea, the first slide I want to see is called the big picture. In other words, if it's a technology project, I want to see a value chain. If it's a social science project, I want to see a stakeholder diagram. And you can find these by, say, Google value chain wind energy image, or you could say Google migration stakeholders image, and you should get some ideas of what these diagrams look. So that's what I call the big picture. So that's the first thing I want to see. The second slide, I want you to point out within this big picture where precisely your project is focusing. And then I want to see what research level your project is at. Is it TRL1, fundamental research, or is it, in this case, it's going from TRL3 to TRL7. So in other words, it's TRL3 laboratory and 4 laboratory research, TRL5 demonstration, TRL6 prototyping, and so on. So before you tell me about the project, I want to explain the context of it. Now, it looks like a simple diagram, but there's a lot of work needed to explain this. Now, what's going to come out of this exercise is something called a one-page proposal that I described in the course. And I want you to present this to me as a set of PowerPoint slides. So the first thing is tell me the number of the proposal if you've already registered it in the participant portal. I want you to tell me the topic. Now, normally before you meet me or your research officer, support staff, you will tell them what the topic is so we can be prepared and have read the topic. Your next slide is the title and the acronym. Now, I want to give you some tips on this. Now, the next slide is really important. It's what is the research question? And I want to tell you what I want to see in here. Now, the next slide is, this could be 1 or 2 slides at the beginning. It's about addressing the 5 key questions that I described in the course. Then I want to know what is coming out of the project and who will use these results. So I want to give you a diagram on how to do this. Say a few words about the actual project, the phases of the work packages. Then I want to know the consortium. Why did you pick these partners and what their role is in the project? And I'll give you a diagram for this. And finally then, just a few words about the cost and the duration. Now let's step through some of these. The title. The title should focus on what is coming out of the project. Now, I like this tip here. I like a title to be a standalone sentence. That if you read the title, you get a good understanding of what the project is about. And here's another tip. The title is usually written last. So in other words, at the beginning, you have a working title. What is the research question? Now, when you present this slide, I don't want you to say anything. I should be able to read this slide and understand what the project is about. Remember, this is the first paragraph that the evaluator is going to read. So it's the aim of this project is the ABC, and the research question is. Now, I looked at the proposal recently and I found this paragraph on page 42. So make the life of the evaluator easy by saying this is the research question. Now, when I read that research question, two things occur in my mind. What new knowledge will come out of the project, and why the hell wasn't this done before? So if you can get that information into the slide, I'd appreciate it. Now, in the course, I described the 5 key questions and their role in the panel meeting. Now, if you present a slide here full of words, I'm not even going to read them. What I want to see are facts, figures, diagrams, graphs, quotations to support your arguments. And the first thing that comes to the mind of the people in the panel meeting is, why bother? What problem are these, or what challenge are these people trying to solve? The second question is, why should Europe fund it? Could this have been funded at national level? Or if it's a big market you're addressing, why isn't industry funding it? Now, this is a rather obvious question. Are you trying to tell me that this was never done before? And the next question is, why are you doing this now? Or what would happen if we didn't fund your project? Would anybody ever notice? In other words, is it an interesting idea, an important idea, an urgent idea, or a critical idea? You know, what's the urgency about what you're actually doing? And finally then, are you really the best people to do this work? Now, those are tough questions. And in the clinic, these are precisely the questions we'll be asking you about the project. So again, be ready for this. Now, to explain the impact, I want to go back to the first diagrams that you presented at the beginning of the clinic. Now, if the project finishes here at TRL 7, then I want to know what will be the outputs. In other words, when the project is finished, what will be on the table? And I want to know which partner is going to use those results. So again, this has to be relevant to what I call the impact partner earlier, you know. Now, the next thing I want to know is, what will be the medium term impact? And this is normally referred to sometimes as the results or the outcomes. And then what's the long-term impact? So there's three types of impact: the short term, the medium term, and the long term. And I want you to present those to me using the diagram that you presented at the beginning. Now, when we look at your consortium, I want to see, why did you pick the partners or for your project? Now, there might be university partners that the concept is based on their research. There might be research centers who are specializing in demonstrating and prototyping the concepts. And then we have an organization who's going to use the results. Now, this is what I meant by the impact partner. And there may be other partners who represent the long-term users of the results. Now, when I look at this PowerPoint slide that you'll present, this is what I'm looking for. If you don't have an impact partner in your project is dead. You know, if there's no partner in there who wants these results and who will use the results, and this is the partner that writes B2. So that's one of the main things I'm looking for in your presentation. And finally then, you can say a few words about the cost and the duration of the project. So that's it. I hope that helps you in preparing your PowerPoint presentation and eventually preparing your one-page proposal. So if you're presenting it to me, I'm looking forward to your presentation. If you're presenting it to your research support staff or your national contact point, all I can say is the best of luck in your presentation and in your proposal. So thanks for listening, and bye for now.